It was March 13th, 1997. The sun just slipped below the horizon. It was an ordinary Thursday evening across the city of Phoenix and the small town scattered through the desert. Millions of people were home eating dinner, watching television, going about their night like any other. No one had any reason to look up. But then, someone did. And what they saw would change everything. It started near the Nevada-Arizona border just after 7 p.m. The sky was clear and full of stars. Then a formation of lights appeared moving south. They weren't blinking like a plane. First reports came from a small town. A man standing in his yard noticed something above the tree line and called the police. He told the officer something huge was flying directly over him. 5 reddish-orange lights glowing steadily in the shape of a V. It continued south toward the city of Prescott. Within minutes, dozens of people saw it pass directly overhead. They said it was enormous, bigger than anything they'd ever seen in the sky. But it made absolutely no sound. Not a whisper, just silence. Someone who saw it estimated the object was over a mile wide, far larger than any known aircraft. It moved slowly, as if it had nowhere to be, nothing to fear. By the time the lights reached Phoenix, the city of over 1 million people was about to look up. Thousands of residents saw lights all across the sky. Some rushed outside to grab cameras. Others stood frozen in their driveways. Families watched together from their backyards. Children pointed to the sky and asked their parents what it was. Nobody had an answer. The first event passed slowly and eventually disappeared. The night wasn't over. Around 10 p.m. a second set of lights appeared. These were different. They weren't moving, completely motionless. Even more people saw them this time, and many grabbed their cameras. By morning, the Phoenix lights were national news. Every major network ran a story. Witnesses came forward by the hundreds, all describing the same thing. Phone lines at local news stations and police departments were overwhelmed. Many of the people who called said it had completely changed their minds about what they'd seen. The military was asked to explain what happened. The Air Force said the second set of lights were flares dropped during a routine training exercise over the Barry Goldwater Range. The case was closed, officially. But the people who saw them said what they had witnessed looked nothing like flares. Flares flicker and fade. These lights held perfectly still for minutes at a time. The military never could explain how these lights traversed an entire state, a massive V-shaped object that traveled silently over 300 miles across the state of Arizona. It's never been addressed. No explanation, no acknowledgement. Even Arizona's governor eventually got involved. At first, he treated it like a joke. He held a press conference and brought out a man dressed in a rubber alien costume, sending the room into laughter. But years later, he told a very different story. He admitted that he had gone out that night and seen it for himself. A massive craft moving silently through the sky. He said it was unlike anything he could explain. Over the years, investigators dug deeper into the case. Hundreds of witnesses were formally interviewed, and what they found was striking. People who had never spoken to one another in completely different parts of the state described exactly the same thing. Pilots said it wasn't a plane, it wasn't a helicopter, and it wasn't flares. So what was it? Theories have been debated for nearly 30 years. Some believe it was a classified military aircraft being tested in secret. Others believe the answer is something much bigger, something we may not be ready to understand. Every year, people gather to remember what they know they saw. They have never forgotten. On March 13th, 1997, the sky over Arizona held a secret. Thousands of people saw something that could not be explained. And to this day, no one has explained it.